Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. It's a great day. I'd call it a green letter day for the University of North Texas. I've been here 21 months. And when I got here, one of the things we said was that we weren't going to stand for being an institution that no one had ever heard of. We were going to be nationally prominent. And we meant not just in academics, and we've made great strides in 21 months, but that we would also be nationally prominent in athletics. And athletics was going to be part of the brand, part of the image that helped us build donor support, helped us bring our alumni onto campus and enjoying this incredible facility, help us with our students and our recruiting on a national level. So it is an incredible delight for me today to be welcoming a new coach, Coach Seth LIttrell, and a new era in UNT football. I think the Mean Green Nation's going to be proud today, and I think you'll all see why here shortly. So with that, I'll say this was a long process. We're very, very gratified with the result. And the guy who did the heavy lifting in it is Rick Villarreal, and I want to ask him to come on up here. He's a great partner in this, and we both couldn't have been happier with this. Rick, come on up.
Thank you, Leo. Appreciate it very, very much. Yes, sir.
Great day to be here. I don't want to do this anymore. I told Seth that when we hired him. I didn't want to come back up here and hold another press conference. It is a great day, and I think it's a major step forward in the progression of our program, and I think it parallels everything else that we've done as a program. Building an academic base, which now boasts an 80% graduation rate, to build facilities that we now sit in today, and now to move to the level of coach that we have running our program. I think all those things parallel and give us a solid foundation for moving forward. There are a couple people I want to thank before I get started. This wouldn't have happened without my staff. Most of the time, they didn't know where I was. I couldn't tell them where I was. They just knew I wasn't at work doing what I was supposed to be doing. They were picking up all the loose ends and doing the things that need to be done and run this department on a regular basis, and I'm extremely grateful to them, especially our media relations director, Eric Capper, who was the only person I really could tell anything to, and that was kind of hard on him sometimes, but I appreciate what they did. I want to thank Russ Campbell and Patrick Strong, who represent Seth. I think we're still friends. You know how that is when you're working negotiations and it goes back and forth. They were great to work with, and I look forward to many, many years and possibly a renegotiation down the pipe, because I'd like for Seth to be here for a long time. I also need to thank Glenn Suyama, who's with DHR International. It's a lot of people didn't really realize this through the whole process, but when you're trying to, I don't know if you've ever seen that commercial, We'll Leave the Light On For You with Tom Bodette. There were days I didn't know if I was in this city, that city, what city, his city, that time, whatever. Glenn was instrumental not only in helping me secure appointments with candidates we wanted to see. He was instrumental also in maybe bringing some people to the table to increase the search, and most of all, just coordinating my activities so that I could run a successful search. And Glenn, thank you very much. We appreciate it very, very much. Finally, as Dr. Smatra says, when you go through this process, it takes total support from the president to be able to go out and do what we did, to go out and be able to find great people. I can tell you that we talked to some of the best in the country. 3 of those guys are now head coaches at FBS schools. So we weren't going just around the country looking at everybody and anybody. We went after the best. I think that, again, equates what we try to do with facilities and everything else. So at the end of the day, the question will be, wait a minute, I would be remiss for not thanking a couple of other people. I want to thank Don and Dylan Lovelace and the Lovelace family, Patty, for allowing us to use your plane yesterday. I couldn't imagine trying to make that trip work, and it wouldn't have been possible without you letting us do that. We like to do that on a regular basis. I know I couldn't have gotten through this process. I'm sure, I haven't figured out yet if my wife is glad that I was away for 4 weeks, or if if it was just it was probably as much a strain on her as it was on me. Being in and out, we had a perpetual suitcase that sat on the floor. I would just take the CPAP machine out and put it back in, and take it out and put it back in, and change the clothes. And she would just kind of nod and, where you headed this time? So thank you. I appreciate it very much. So it's going to come down to why Seth LIttrell. About 5 or 6 years ago, when we were making the change and bringing in Coach McCarney, and you start looking at a list, there was a young man that I'd kind of gotten the attention of from some other people and said, here's a guy that in the future is going to be a really, really great coach. You just need to keep an eye on him. And I wrote that name down. And I watched him work his way. I watched him work it, and he didn't have the advantage of working at a lot of huge schools. When I say huge, I don't mean their football traditions weren't necessarily the best in the business. But here was a guy who was going to places like Indiana, known as a basketball school, and taking that offense from 50th to 60th, 70th in the country to number 15, number 14. And he did it at Arizona. And then he went to North Carolina and he did it all over again. And the constant and the rise and the production of all those programs was Seth LIttrell. When I talked to people about him, about his ability to lead, probably one of the biggest things was that when I went to North Carolina and I talked to Larry Fedora, the head football coach, and I said, tell me why you think he's ready to be a head coach. And they said, Rick, here's the deal. We brought this young guy into the middle of a established staff with guys that were much older, that probably a few of them figured they deserved to be the coordinator, and it could have been a disaster. And as a 34, 35-year-old guy, he walked into the room. He allowed everybody in the room to be themselves, to take their part, do what they do, manage effectively, and still be the guy in the room that made decisions. I think that's the mark of a true leader, because I think if you're going to have a successful program, you have to have somebody who's willing to listen. You have to have somebody that's willing to share, and you have to be willing at the end of the day for somebody to make that decision once it's done. He has no problem doing that. I asked Coach Fedora, does he really call all the plays? You know, you get a lot of offenses, and there's a bunch of guys with headsets on these days, and so people are talking, you're not sure. And he said, he calls every play. And he said, yes. And I said, every play? He goes, well, not everyone. And I said, okay. Which ones does he call? The good ones? Just as long as he calls the good ones. And he said, no, he handles the whole thing. The biggest part of the process that was probably the toughest is people say, why did it take so long? Why? I mean, you know, the logistics of having to let a coach go after 5 games doesn't mean you go out and hire somebody in week 9. Everybody's still playing football. Coaches are still working. Well, this one got really complicated because the farther this one went, the closer some things got and some goals became attainable. And so, you know, we kind of had to keep stretching because this game was important and that game was important. And I think this speaks volumes about a guy. You know, he was getting ready for the Duke game when we interviewed Seth. And I can remember him sitting in that room, and he didn't get to the interview till about 9:30 at night because he had been at practice all day. And we had a great talk, and he sat there, and you could see it. He just kept, the more I talked, the more he kept leaning in and kept leaning in. And when I got done, he said, I want this job. And I said, well, you know, we kind of want you too, but tell me about why you should have this job. And as the progression went on, the end of the conversation was this: Coach, I want your job, but I understand your situation. I understand you need to get somebody in to recruit. I understand that you need to get your program moving forward. And I may regret saying this, but if you need to move on, it'll just be a loss for me. But you have to do what's best for the University of North Texas. And he said that not for the University of North Texas. He really said that because he owed it to his players. He owed it to the coaching staff at the University of North Carolina to stick with what was going on. I mean, the shot at a possible national championship. You don't get those things very often. So he was not willing to turn his attention away from what was important to do what he really wanted to do in his heart, maybe the dream of all times. And so I think that was clear on both parts, the patience, the persistence. We took a lot of shots because people kept saying they don't know what they're doing. I'm not sure, in the media, you just bear with it. Whatever they write, they write. The president and I talked about that a couple times. You're not going to control that. We had the right guy. We had the right guy all along. And if it took 7 weeks, 8 weeks, I can promise you the thing that was on Saturday night was really kind of torn. I was torn. I wanted him to win. And then I kept trying to figure out how he was going to coach in the championship bowl and recruit at the same time. And I was going, yay, no, don't, yay, no, don't do it, yeah. And so when we got down to the very end of the game and they had the phantom onside kick, and they didn't get it, I was really sad for them because I knew that was something with that offense, the way they clicked the last quarter and they scored in 1 minute and 3 seconds and 1 minute and 8 seconds. I knew if they got the ball at the 45-yard line with 3 timeouts and 1 minute and 3 seconds left, it was going to be a tie ball game. So when they didn't get the fumble recovery, I knew that wasn't going to happen for him. So I was really kind of sad for about 30 seconds. And then I said, well, we can finally get our ball coach in here. He's got a great family. One of the things that you're going to find out about him, and sometimes he kind of gets a little taken aback by it. He says, I'm not real fancy. Coach, I'm not this, guy that's going to be real out there and eloquent and those things. I think he's wrong. I think what you'll find about him is he's natural. You're going to have a conversation with him, and you're going to feel like you've known him for 10 years. You're going to feel comfortable. He's a Texas kind of person. He belongs in this part of the country. He's going to do a great job. I had a chance to visit with his wife, Becca, on the trip over here. We got a little footage. Her mother's here today. His mother's here today. Her mother's here today. I'm going to tell this story. I asked him about his relationship with his wife and how he got married, and he said that his mother set him up on a date for a wedding. And it happened to be Becca, and they got married, and so I asked her about it, and she said, well, it was a little more than that. He kind of met me at this place one time and said, how old are you? And she said, no, I'm 21. He said, okay, I just wanted to but that led to a date at a wedding that turned into a marriage. It's based on a lot of faith, a lot of trust. I know he'll talk about them, but what they stand for are great value. So I'm going to bring him up here in a second, but Becca, if you'd come up here for just a second, I have something for you. We want you to have this as new First Lady of Major League Football.
Thank you.
And in 15 years of being here, I always forget my wife, so not today. Now, the real reason we're here. The new head football coach at the University of North Texas, the guy that's going to take us places where we should have been a long time ago, our new head football coach, Seth LIttrell. Congratulations, buddy. Glad about you being here. That's for you now. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make him put this on. He's been catching flack about his hair all week. There you go, buddy. You look great in it. You look awesome. You look awesome. All yours.
I'm humbled and honored to stand here today as the head football coach at North Texas. I'm extremely grateful to Chancellor Jackson, President Smatras, the Board of Regents, Rick Villarreal, for believing in me and giving me and my family this opportunity. The opportunity to lead this program and to be part of this university and community is something that's very special to us. I wouldn't be able to stand here today if I didn't give a lot of thanks to my wife, Becca, our son, Trip, our daughter, Elle. I lost the bet. Becca's been my biggest support over the years, and I wouldn't be standing here today without her. She's made a lot of sacrifices for our family, for me to pursue my coaching dreams. And I'm forever grateful for you. Thank you so very much. I have a lot of other family standing here today. My mom, Judy, my dad, Jimmy, my sister, Lindsay, my brother-in-law, Bo, Kylie, Liddy, my nieces. Thank you for being here. My mother-in-law, Betty. I am so grateful that y'all guys are here and we can share in this experience. All right, I'm good. Beck and I grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma. My family still lives in Oklahoma. I can tell you how great it is to be back in this part of the country. I'm most comfortable in boots and jeans. That's just the way it is. So right now, I'm at home. That said, we're very happy at UNC and absolutely loved our time in Chapel Hill. It took a special place to get us to leave. North Texas is that special place. When this job came open, I knew without a doubt I wanted it. I'm a man of deep integrity, so my total focus was on UNC, the football players, our coaching staff, and our administration. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I spent many sleepless nights thinking about the opportunities that North Texas had to offer. And I probably drove Becca just a little bit crazy. I got to thank Rick Villarreal. He was tremendous throughout this process. Thank you. He was open, he was honest, he was aggressive, and I was immediately drawn to those traits. Without a doubt, especially his passion for North Texas. He was persistent, but also very patient. And I appreciate that. Also, I got to thank his team, including Glenn Sugiyama. They were incredible from start to finish. Rick's passion for North Texas athletics is contagious. We were on the same page from day one, and I am looking forward to working with Rick for the years to come. There are some other people I'd like to recognize who played a huge part in why I'm standing up here today. I want to thank Larry Fedora, Bubba Cunningham, and the entire staff and administration at the University of North Carolina. I had 2 great years with Larry, and I appreciate the friendship. He gave me a lot of freedom to grow as a coach, and I learned more from him about what it means to become a head coach. He and his family are very special to Becca and I, and we love you guys. I'm extremely proud of what we were able to accomplish at UNC this past year. And I want everybody to know, and Coach Fedora would say the same, it is about the players. Those guys bought in and gave everything they had for each other. And that's exactly why we were successful. And that's exactly why we're going to be successful here at North Texas. I also want to thank a couple other guys like Sonny Dykes, Mike Leach, Bob and Mike Stoops, Dana Holgerson, Kevin Wilson. They have each played a huge part in my growth as a husband, as a father, and as a coach. I'm forever grateful. My vision for North Texas football boils down to a couple things. We will establish high standards. No one will expect more from this program than me. We will become accountable to ourselves and this program. This is a program with a history of competing for conference championships and developing players on and off the field. Guys like Mean Joe Green, J.T. Smith, Patrick Cobbs, who I got a chance to talk with a little bit earlier, who have gone on to have great careers at the next level. We will build on our past success and the foundation laid by all our former players. I want them to know that they are a big part of this program and that I welcome them back anytime. We will cultivate a belief in our program from top to bottom. You do that in part by eliminating excuses and doubt from day one. We will embrace challenges as opportunities, and we will learn from our mistakes. Many of the pieces are already in place here at North Texas. Apogee Stadium is one of the finest around, and I can't wait to see each and every one of you there September 3rd against SMU. We're going to put on a product on the field that will get you there early and keep you there late. Believe me, your support matters. We need each and every one of you to be part of this program. I know a two thing about Texas high school football. Our recruiting base is second to none, and that's exactly where we're going to start, right here at home. I've lived it and breathed it, whether I've recruited or coached down the road. And I cannot wait to get out and see all my friends in the Texas high school coaching community. The best high school football in the country is played right here. There's no doubt about it in my mind. We want those kids playing for North Texas. We want them to be a part of our program. My door will always be open, and I want the Texas high school coaches to always feel welcome at our program. But I'm going to tell you this right now. They won't have to come by and see me at the facility. I'm coming to see them. We will compete every single day in everything we do, from the practice field to the weight room to the classroom. I want our guys getting after and putting every ounce of ability into everything they do as part of the Mean Green football program. When you compete, you develop. And that's exactly what we're going to do. That will be the cornerstone of our program, and we will make our players better in all phases. And last but not important, or most important, we're going to have fun. We will have fun. There's nothing about playing football for the University of North Texas that is going to be easy. Nothing good in life is ever easy. That said, we will have fun. Our players will enjoy coming and enjoying our facility, being around our coaches, their families, our administration, and we will be one big family. We have to embrace them and have fun. Because most of all, we have to do it for each other. I will have their back, and they will have mine. We'll run a players first program. That's exactly why we're here. And make no mistake about it. Without the players, I'm not standing up here right now. We're going to coach them extremely hard. But at the end of the day, we're going to love them even harder. All right, let's talk some football. Offensively, we're going to run the triple option. Sorry, Rick. That's just not me. We're going to be spread. We're going to be multi-tempo. We're going to be flying around We're going to be spreading the ball around to as many different positions as possible. We're going to tee it high and let it fly, and we're going to put points on the board. Offensively, from day one, that's what I've always been about. Defensively, our players are going to play fast. They're going to focus on assignment and alignment, and they are going to be aggressive. We are going to attack the quarterback, force guys to make competitive plays. And on special teams, we're going to be opportunistic. I view them as offensive opportunities. We will make game-changing plays. If you're not good enough to start on offense or defense, if you're not good enough to start on special teams, you can't start on one of the offense or defense. Special teams is as critical as anything we will do on the field each and every Saturday. So getting started, where am I at? Staff. I will focus over the next couple of weeks putting together a top-notch staff, and that process is already underway. I am a lot more focused on getting it done right than getting it done quick. My staff will consist of coaches who appreciate the opportunity that North Texas has to offer. And I want guys who want to be here. There will definitely have a Texas flavor. I know that is very important here. My staff will know Texas high school football, and we will be relentless on the recruiting trail. I can assure you this, there is no shortage of coaches who want to be a part of joining this program. I'm scared to look at my phone right now. It gets overwhelming. And I'm very grateful for the many well wishes for us in North Texas that I've received from a lot of great friends and family around this business. And I'm also grateful for a lot of guys that have already been sending out names who are highly interested in joining our program. I can assure you, I promise you I will get back to you. It may take some time, but I promise you I will get back to each and every one of you. Signing day will be here before we know it, and it's going to take a lot of work between now and then. I will start on that this afternoon and take advantage of the time we have left before the December dead period. We'll use that time to refine our recruiting plan and come away swinging in January. I plan to reach out to the commitments, the prospects, ASAP. It's critical that they know who I am and what I'm about. I had an unbelievable opportunity this morning to meet with this team. It was great to get in front of them. They've already learned what's expected of them. I'm going to leave the details of everything we talked about between us as a family. And that's how we're going to move forward. There's no doubt in my mind, they know I'm going to have their back, and I expect them to have mine. I thank each and every one of you today for coming out here, and I'm excited to be back. I am excited to be back home. It's going to be an absolutely fun ride. Appreciate it. Go Mean Green.
Seth, as part of this process of being hired, did you have a chance to look back at the program the past 10, 12 years and make an assessment of what went wrong here?
You know, you get opportunities to look back, but most importantly, I'm looking forward. And to me, it really doesn't matter what has happened in the past, good or bad, because each and every year is a new year. And my focus right now is on this team, this university, and in the now. And I'm extremely excited to get ready.
You mentioned that you're looking forward as you take over the program. What is it about North Texas that you look at this program and believe that it can be successful consistently going forward?
I'm sorry, I missed you.
As you look at this program now and where it's at, what makes you believe that it can be successful going forward in the future under your direction?
Why can't it? We're going to go out there, we're going to compete. We're going to go out there, we're going to be relentless on the recruiting trail, and we're going to develop our student athletes. We're going to gain a great relationship with those kids in that building, and we're going to put an unbelievable product out on the field next fall.
Every coach comes in here and says this is a recruiting hotbed, and we see it across the nation. Everybody comes and recruits this area.
Sorry.
There you go, babe.
And every new coach comes into North Texas and says we've got to recruit local Texas talent. For whatever reason, they continue to fall short in getting that talent in here. What will you be doing differently or better to make that change now?
I can't tell you on past, I wasn't here, but what I do know is this. There's no doubt in my mind, we're going to go out and build relationships locally, and we're going to build relationships with, some of them already have, and we're going to get to know every head coach in this area. Not only the coaches, we're going to know the administration, we're going to know the teachers, we're going to know the people in the community who count, and we are going to go sell a great product in North Texas, and we're going to keep those kids, and we're going to recruit them hard and try to keep them home.
Seth, you were right here in front of you. Seth, you were talking a minute ago about the coaching staff. Obviously, you're going to take your time and do it right. As far as your role in having called plays at North Carolina, where do you see your role as the offense? Do you plan to step back a little bit? Do you plan to be fully involved in that? How do you see your role in that? I was going to ask her a question.
Yeah, please. She's liking it. She's liking this. I didn't know she would. She's my pistol now. Obviously, you know, I will always have offense in me, and the offense I will always have. You know, part of me will be in the offensive room. But in the grand scheme of things, I want to go out and hire an unbelievable staff with the same philosophies as I do on offense. And because at the end of the day, I know there's going to be a lot of other things as a head coach I'm going to have to oversee. And so, to me, it's getting the right guys, getting the right fits, offense, defense, special teams, and oversee a program. That is my job.
Coach, what do you believe, this is your first chance to sell your product? What would you like to sell your offense to the high school kids here in North Texas as you begin the recruiting process?
Well, I think it's an offense that resonate with them. You look at all the different offense around the Texas high school, it's fun and gun now. I mean, it's spreading around and spreading the ball to as many different positions as possible. You know, we're going to force teams to not be able to key on one certain player. We're going to spread that. We're going to spread the ball around, and there's going to be a lot of playmakers on the field. Again, at the end of the day, there's no doubt in what I do offensively. We're going to play extremely fast. We're going to be up tempo. We're going to be no huddle, and we're going to put a lot of points on the board.
Is it more difficult to recruit the kids or to coach them up?
Well, I think it's a challenge on both. I mean, coaching isn't easy, and neither is playing, though. So we all have a job. And then on the recruiting trail, we have a great product to sell here at North Texas. But in any product you have to sell, you have to go out and work. And so I plan on getting on the road and working extremely hard to bring that great product here.
Will anybody on the former staff be considered for a position?
I know I have a pretty good idea what I'm looking for in a staff, and at this point in time, I don't think it would be fair to anybody for me to step out and say one way or the other.
And if you could talk about the influence Mike Leach has had on your career. And
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Mike Leach.
Oh, unbelievable! You know, I'm forever grateful for Mike Leach. Gave me my first running back's job, I think, at 25 years old. As a former player, I GA'd at Kansas right out of college. I went from Oklahoma for student coaching to Kansas. And there's not many guys that would believe in somebody and hire a young coach at a big-time university in the Big 12. And he never blinked an eye. He believed in me, and I appreciate that. He taught me a lot. He kept it extremely simple. Offensively, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And most importantly, there was no doubt in his mind, and he believed 100% that we were the best in the field. And that's something that I've carried over every single where I've been.
Coach, your offenses have always produced incredible run games. How much have you evaluated the current roster, especially given some of the young offensive talent with a couple of young running backs and just the offensive talent on this roster in general?
Yeah, I've gotten the opportunity to evaluate. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I've gotten the opportunity to evaluate a little bit. Obviously, it's been, it's been a fast couple of weeks with everything that's been going on. I definitely know there is talent in that locker room. But again, like I told those guys, right now it's a fresh start for everybody, good, bad, or indifferent. And at the end of the day, we're in the process of evaluating through spring ball. Every year's different. Every team I've ever been on, every year's different. And every single year you got to be ready to come out and play, put in the work, grow together as a family, and compete. And I'm excited to see those guys do that.
You've been so successful offensively everywhere you've been. What has made you so successful in those different stops, and how can that carry over to North Texas in your first head coaching job here?
A lot of different things play into that. I think one, players buying into your system and who you are as a coach. I think staff members, make no mistake about it, I've worked with some unbelievable coaches who have been instrumental in helping me grow along the way. And believing in what I want to do. I think it's very important. I don't waver. I do believe it's our job as coaches to put the players in the best positions to be successful. So you may have to tweak things here and there, but my offensive philosophy will and has never changed.
And I know that you've just gotten here and barely had a chance to evaluate your players, but quarterback-wise, the midterm signing period's coming up. Have you started to formulate any kind of plans of where you want to go in terms of quarterback position for next season?
Yeah, we have some ideas, obviously. But the first and foremost, we're going to evaluate exactly what we have in that room. And some of that process will start right after the Christmas break. The next thing we're going to always do is we're going to always go out and we're going to recruit quarterbacks each and every year, and we're going to get them.
That it? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.